In 1922, Harvard President Charles W. Eliot said, "The organized summer camp is the most important step in education that America has given the world." At the same time that Eliot made this statement, organized camping was initiated in Texas and Oklahoma. Now, all these years later, countless young men and women have benefited from the unique educational experience found only at summer camp. Camping in Texas and Oklahoma began with church encampments. The first recorded seems to be 1902, with several following shortly after that. In Oklahoma, the first recorded agency camp occurred in 1912, quickly followed by another in 1913. In Texas, one of the first, if not the first, youth camps opened in 1921. It was a private camp, and it was followed by agency camps opening in 1922. In a survey conducted by the Rockefeller Foundation in the 1920s to determine the healthiest locality of the entire country, Kerr County in Texas was decided as having the ideal climate. This played a factor in several private camps and one agency camp opening in the mid-1920s along the south and north forks of the Guadalupe River. In the late 1930s, the first modern Christian youth camp was established in Texas. In the late 1940s, primarily in response to the polio epidemic and the large number of children dealing with diabetes, camps serving children with physical disabilities and special medical needs were started in Texas, with Oklahoma following in the early 1950s. In Oklahoma and Texas, the development of camps in the 1920s was in accordance with the plans and the management of the older established camps in the north and east. However, the seasons in Texas and Oklahoma, the unique landscape features, and the can-do spirit of Oklahomans and Texans offered unique concepts to camp management principles and programs. These concepts were innovative to the camping industry. During the history of camps being formed in Texas and Oklahoma, both of these states became members of the American Camp Association in 1951. Private, agency, and religious camps from Texas and Oklahoma have been represented in the American Camp Association ever since. From 1974 to 1976, Texan Armin Whitey Lures was elected national president of the ACA, and in 2005, Ann Sheets became the first Texoma volunteer to be elected national president. In 1971, CAMP was formed by a dozen Texas camp directors with a focus on monitoring national legislation that could affect organized camping. The first president of CAMP was Tex Robertson, founder of Camp Longhorn. In 1959, Christian Camp and Conference Association became an organization, and its presence was established in Texas and Oklahoma in the 1960s. Through the years, all three of these organizations and their leaders have played a part in shaping the future of camping through camping standards, legislation matters, and more. Camp directors have witnessed so many changes over the decades. Trends come and go, but the values of camping remain a constant. From the earliest days, a variety of camping organizations have served Texas and Oklahoma campers, from therapeutic camps to private camps, from religious camps to agency camps.
I'm Cy Ragsdale, and I'm going to give an attempt to tell about the history of some of the private camping in Texas. The first private camp in Texas was started by a man named Herbert Crate. When he announced that he was going to do this, at least 100 men said, "You can count on my son being there." And the first summer in 1921, Mr. Crate had 21 counselors and 14 campers. And I think that's where the camp deposit started in Texas. No summer has ever topped the first summer I had as a boy at camp.
Church camps are real intentional about seeking the wilderness setting. Our history evolves from going out to the woods and seeking spiritual reflection, spiritual growth, and doing that also in a setting which brings fellowship into the picture and community. Organized summer youth camps were natural for churches to participate in, and they came out of the camp meeting which churches have been doing for centuries.
Agency camping in the Texoma section actually started in 1912 in Oklahoma, followed soon thereafter by the first agency camp in Texas. Of course, this was a result of some of the major youth organizations that had their roots in around 1910, with the formation of Boy Scouts, then Campfire USA, and soon thereafter Girl Scouts. Of course, the YMCA had been around since the late 1800s, and many of the other major agencies started around that time as well.
Now, we celebrate a sampling of camps that for generations have had a heart for children as their focus. Texas Baptist Encampment was founded in 1902. The camp was moved a few years later from La Porte to Palacios, gaining its additional name, Palacios by the Sea. Camp Classen is the resident camp of the YMCA of Greater Oklahoma City. Classen campers enjoy more than 2,000 acres in the Arbuckle Mountains in southern Oklahoma. Rio Vista, located near Ingram, Texas, was called the Summer Character Camp for Boys by founder Herbert Crate. Rio Vista for Boys now has a sister camp, Sierra Vista for Girls. The camps are owned by the Hawkins family. The original name for Camp El Tesoro was Camp Civitan, named for the club whose members provided such generous support to the First Texas Council of Campfire. El Tesoro now serves more than 1,200 campers each summer at its site near Fort Worth, Texas. Camp Grady Spruce is owned and operated by the YMCA of Metropolitan Dallas. The famous Hell's Gate formation across Possum Kingdom Lake from Camp Grady Spruce is a memorable landmark for campers. Camp Stewart was founded in 1924 by E.J. Doc Stewart, football and basketball coach at the University of Texas. The Camp for Boys, owned by the Ragsdale family, is located west of Kerrville, Texas, on the Guadalupe River. Located in Kerrville, Kickapoo Camp is the Hill Country's oldest girls' camp. The camp was founded by Mr. and Mrs. Charles L. Ford. 5 generations of Kickapoo campers have felt its magic. From founder Ora Johnson to longtime director Doris Johnson to Marcia English Elmore and her family, the tradition of offering girls physical, mental, and moral growth opportunities continues at Camp Waldemar. Camp Mystic was first known as Camp Stewart for Girls when founded by Doc Stewart. Camp Mystic, influenced by leaders such as Ag Stacy and Inez and Frank Harrison, is operated under the direction of Dick and Tweety Eastland. Camp Flaming Arrow on the banks of the Guadalupe River was known as the San Antonio YMCA Boys Camp when it was founded in 1927. The name change heralded the addition of female campers in the 1960s. Recently, the Roberts Ranch Camp near Comfort, Texas, joined the Flaming Arrow family. Camp La Junta began in 1928 with 4 campers. The name La Junta comes from an American Indian word which means the gathering place and is now synonymous with honor, integrity, good sportsmanship, and great camping. Girl Scout Camp Kiwanis was founded in 1928. The camp was adopted as a project of the downtown Kiwanis Club of Amarillo, Texas. Girl Scouts at Camp Kiwanis developed skills so valuable to becoming women with courage, confidence, and character to help make the world a better place. While today's campers might not be aware of the names and dates associated with the rich tradition of camping in Texas and Oklahoma, these young men and women certainly share a common bond with those camping pioneers. Campers from yesterday and today recognize the value of a camping experience.
The real value of camp is the attitude. Attitude, of course, covers a lot of territory. It covers all the skills of the activities, which the kiddos believe is the aim of camp. But that respect and that everybody is somebody, is the undergoing value, the family values that camp can offer.
President George W. Bush recently wrote, "Youth camps provide positive, wholesome, outdoor living with exciting new experiences. This creates an environment for our young people to develop traditional values of friendship, respect, independence, leadership, and responsibility. I commend those of you who work hard to provide this important learning experience for our most precious resource, our children."